Welcome back to the Unexpected Entertainment YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be very exciting. I'm going with 4 of my friends and we are exploring an abandoned Cold War Air Force base located in the UP of Michigan on the Keweenaw Peninsula. This place even has its own nuclear bunker, which could have saved 100 lives for 3 months during a nuclear winter. Now, before we get into that, I want you to imagine something real quick. I want you to imagine someday you go online and you want to go to an Airbnb that's really unique. So you find this one of a nuclear bunker. Well, the Open Skies Project has plans for that in the future. Thank you to the Open Skies Project for making this video possible today. They offer free tours of the Calumet Air Force Base in the UP of Michigan. This place is so cool. Check them out. Their links are down below. Give them donations or sign up for a free tour to see for your own eyes. This place is so cool. There are many great things in store ahead. So without further ado, please like, share, and comment this video. It helps us out. And let's get ready for the tour. To the Unexpected Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Unexpected Podcast.
The only original piece is this broken one at the end.
Staff in the 2000s. Basically, if you had a spouse with kids, you could be living here. But there will also be people that would have been commuting from Calumet and Houghton as well. There was quite the long waiting list to be able to get housed on site. It was a pretty nice perk to have.
A couple of the houses, there's some solar panels on there. You guys
Yeah.
them?
So we have camera systems set up throughout the entire property, mainly for them live to our phones, so we're pretty responsive with being able to intercept those and ask them to take a tour instead of. Those are the old wastewater treatment plant here. When the academy came in, those were falling off into disrepair, so they decided to build a lagoon system north of here, air transmitters and receivers.
Okay.
And we're going to be heading there shortly after the housing. Once again, they're a little bit more worse for wear compared to middle housing. These houses are actually more of a modular movable house. They were originally built in Arizona. They were an overstock at another military base, so they decided to grab an entire set of them and to bring them up here to the Keweenaw.
Sam, you want to live here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
That's cool.
Oh, I got me here.
Sorry, I'm allergic to asbestos.
So how quick could they like put these up and down? Was it like a couple of days or? Is
I would guess so. Once again, they were all prefab. They would have brought them on site, lifted the
Linda.
roofs up, moved the outside walls, and they would build these interior. On those tower antenna.
Oh, wow.
And then they would also have fall arresters, so in case you were to slip, you could get caught before you hit the ground. As early as 1961, they had the ability to send a data pulse to the fighter jets. Yep, that's one of the radome towers. Yep, back to like a geodesic vinyl covering at the very end of it. This building we have on our right, this is Motorpool. This would have housed their ambulance, fire truck, plow truck, and other equipment. Around the corner, the room that we started in, that was more like an open garage to do maintenance on your vehicles, whether it be as well as the students for the academy. It was about 1 to 2 people a room on average for the military living, so that people can come up here all year round and enjoy the site as well as the Keweenaw.
Oh, cool.
On our left, we have a baseball field. We also have tennis courts with hoops, and then
Nice.
horseshoe pits behind that.
Nice.
We were told the lights were only turned on once for a game in its entire existence.
Oh.
The daylight hours get pretty long in the summertime, so they just didn't have a late enough night game to warrant them. But in the winter, they would throw water down to create ice rinks for people to skate on, so it did have a double use in that. This large building here on our left, this is the rec center. This is where the NCO club used to be, which is basically your officer's bar. But there were just so few officers to begin with. It was pretty much open to anyone enlisted to be able to get a drink if they needed to. Also in here is a weight room / lounge space, a half-court gym, a bowling alley, and a racquetball court.
Oh, cool.
Had to keep them entertained as best they could up here, out in the middle of nowhere. The building here on our right, this is the mess hall. This is where everyone would eat. They did 4 meals a day. One of those was a midnight chow for the night crew. And of all the veterans who ever came back, mostly all of them said it was the best food they'd ever had. Had to keep that morale up out here in the cold north. The corner here, this is the commissary, basically your general store. Had your staples like rice, beans, frozen meat, bread, and other groceries. And that was delivered by truck from K.I. Sawyer once a week. They were going through stock that much up here. The small building in front of us here, this was the pump house. This is what would have gotten water to all the facilities. Behind that underground is a 65,000 gallon water cistern holding tank. There are no wells up here, mainly because being on a mountaintop, getting groundwater is kind of hard to do. So what they ended up doing is at the base of the mountain by Gratiot Lake, they had 2 wells, and they would actually pump the water 2.5 miles up the mountainside and drop it into that cistern. A lot of power, a lot of water head getting out all the way up this mountain. The side was heated by steam. They had big giant steam pipes on telephone poles swept out to every single building. Yes, yep. Originally coal-fired library for the students. There's a lot of deep quotes up here for sure in terms of graffiti. If anything too severe were to happen, though, you'd have to get shipped off to K.I. Sawyer's Hospital in Marquette. This long building here, this is admin, basically your offices for documents and paperwork. On the end, it would have been the BX, known as the Base Exchange. This is where you could get a new uniform, new boots, a shaving kit, comic books, cigarettes, kind of like a camp store or canteen. You may or may not have noticed, but we have full cell signal up here.
Yes, I noticed that.
This is the AT&T tower, and then across the street we have Verizon and T-Mobile. Interior is like a 700. Here we have our diesel tanks. There's two behind the wall, one above. Those were simply to feed into the powerhouse for those generators.
Wow.
The building next to it, that was the original engineering and powerhouse building at the start of the base. But then as they expanded, those tasks got moved to their own respective buildings. Next up, we're going to be heading to the bunker.
Woo!
Based off the blueprints that we could find, you could fit 100 people down here in an emergency, and they had food and supplies to last about 1 to 2 months. Our best guess is it was probably obsolete as a bunker at that time, or it was just intended for the people up here at the top of the mountain dealing with operations. Sorry for the other 200-300 people at the bottom who were left out of the loop.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah, exactly. If you were in the know, you would have known.
Wow.
If you could imagine, half of this would have been bunk beds, and the other half would have been tables and bench seats. In the corner, you have a ladder going to an escape hatch back to the surface. Between the hatch on top and this bottom swinging door, it would have been filled with sand. So in case an explosion were to go off, it would come down through there and into the room. Also at the end, you'll see the quad-set ceiling. That used to be the original dimensions of the bunker, spanning the entire length. Over there, there's that short. So, potentially we're looking to recreate what was once down here, and maybe opening it up for groups or families if they want to spend a night or two. Another military base was to be bombed, this was going to take up the tasks and operations in its stead. So basically this was plan B for the continued defense of the country in this region. Wow. What they ended up doing with some of those funds is they actually built a shell outside the original. So it's actually 2 buildings in one. The outer shell consists of 2 to 3 block thick walls with sand poured in between, a metal girder roof with concrete poured on top. So this is practically just as bomb-proof as the bunker we were just in.
Holy crap.
Original scope room. So up in front would have been big giant maps of the country, all dotted with flight paths. All across the floor here would have been radar scopes, all manned, keeping track of planes in the air. And then the back would have been an elevated platform where the operations officer would have sat, and he made sure that the entire system was running smoothly. As upgrades were made, all of that got moved to a different room, and this became what it is today, the situation room. Here they would do special meetings, trainings, briefs, maybe a film for the enlisted to watch. This building we hope to turn into a museum. We'll clean up, revitalize this space, and then everything that we've curated over the years will get implemented into here.
Oh, cool.
Maybe even bring the movie theater back to life or something like that. Every door leading into here is a blast door, and every blast door has these metal fins. These actually interlock with the frame, and then this becomes a Faraday cage. So it protects the electronics inside while electromagnetic pulse.
Yep.
But it also makes sure
That's
that no
neat.
rogue signals can enter or exit this room. The towers on either side of us output a lot of power, so they wanted to make sure that none of that could influence all the technical components inside.
Oh, wow. Is this piece original?
Original truck.
Over here we have our third and last foundation to the older set of towers that stood about the same as this one at one point in time. Over there is the search radome tower. The one behind me, this is the height radome tower. So when they finally spotted somebody on their scope, they would point this in the same direction and they could determine the altitude of the aircraft they were looking at. That would then pinpoint where in the sky it was and help the fighter jets intercept easier. When they were doing trainings up here, they would actually send B-52 bombers from K.I. Sawyer to fly out and around the peninsula. It was basically a game of cat and mouse, where they were trying to hide and these guys were supposed to find them. There are anecdotes of people saying that when they were on Brockway Mountain, they could see the tops of those airplanes they were flying that low to the ground.
Oh, wow.
But that's what they had to do to make sure that this site was viable and effective in its operations. This site had originally closed down in the late 70s along with others throughout the northern US, but when they were doing those tests, they realized there was still a blind spot up here. So they ended up reopening and having operations continue to 88 compared to other sites in the area. We feel very fortunate with that, alongside the Academy in the 2000s, to basically have a preserved time capsule of a Cold War radar station. And once again, our main goal is to try and save what we can, revitalize it, and open it up for people to enjoy.
Oh, wow.
Going up here.
That's awesome.
Really enthusiastic, really passionate about it.
Good going through that picture with the snow.
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
That was 1973. And that was the medic building that we passed through.
Wow. Oh, hell no.
So there's a few other pictures here too. Fan here if you want. There's a few other snow pictures in there that are pretty cool to see. Yeah, now you got a little bit of context too, so you can Yes, this is the Bears. One of the Bears units here.
Thank you guys again so much for tuning in today's episode of the Unexpected Entertainment. This episode was really fun for us to make. We had fun exploring around the base, learning about the Calumet Air Force Station and the history of it. Please drop a comment below of your favorite part of the video or what you learned and took away from it or what we can do to improve. We really enjoy making this type of content, so please like, share this video with a friend. That really helps us out. And if you'd like to see more of our videos, we got more over here and over here. And we got a new video coming up with a new podcast and a new episode of the rest of our trip. We did a whole trip, a whole week up in the UP. So with our 4 friends, we have several videos coming out from that trip. So please stay tuned for more information on that. And thank you guys for enjoying the video and coming along with this experience.